Hi everybody, this is Andy Sherman from the Trader House Trading Room in London. I just want to talk to you very briefly about how we can prove to you that you can be a successful online Forex trader with the FX Money Map software. Now we have probably 6 or 7 setups that you may have heard of in our arsenal of trades that range from the vanilla, the reverse vanilla, the bounce, the 60-60, the blue to white, and even the preemptive vanilla. But the one I want to talk to you about right now is one that is mandatory. It's a trade that is non-discretionary, whereas some of our other trades obviously require the skill, maybe a little bit of market knowledge of our users, and requires a greater time to learn. The bounce or wall trade, as we call it, is an obvious setup that everybody can start with immediately. They migrate from their demo account to their live account. They can start taking this trade and getting an easy, usually 10 pips for sure, within 10 minutes. Sometimes, if you're prepared to wait a little bit longer, you get 20 pips within 20 minutes, but a lot of our users will take 5 to 8 pips all day long off a bounce trade in sometimes as little as 5 minutes. And so I just want to show you, so that you can realize you can do this yourself at home, what a bounce trade setup looks like. Now in front of you, you can see 3 grids. We have euro dollar, sterling dollar, and dollar yen. You're asking yourself, which of these grids is a bounce trade in the making? And I can tell you it's this one, euro dollar. What we've basically seen with this euro dollar grid here is the price action come down from our red box region to a perceived solid support area at 138.5 on euro dollar. Now what we mean by a solid support area is a 4-column roadblock with at least one, and in this case we have 2 1-hour boxes. That's green boxes, because this is a buy bounce trade, and those green boxes are in the 1-hour column. Now to try and give you a very nice analogy of what a bounce trade looks like, so you'll be able to see this and understand it forevermore with just 1 or 2 takes. A bounce trade looks like that in terms of chart points. In other words, the 1-minute lane, the 5-minute lane, the 15-minute lane, and the 1-hour lane has almost a wall of support. And if you think of this like a brick wall, you're playing squash in a squash court, where the harder you hit the ball against that wall, it's going to come back to you with the same vigor. And what you can expect to happen 9 times out of 10 is that wall will hold on the first test or the second test in any market, and will then lead to a bounce back up in the direction from which it's hit the wall. So in this case, as you can see, the price is still coming down the price line, the orange line, towards this 138.50 area where we would buy. So we would be looking to hit the buy key and to buy euro dollar for a rally or a bounce back from our supported wall back up towards our red boxes. Now the conditions for a good bounce trade are as follows. Number 1, we want to have 4 columns of support. Number 2, we want to have at least 1 hour green box if we're a buy bounce at this same brick wall region. And number 3, we want to have ideally 20-point gap back to where we came from, which in this case would be up at 138.79. And then you can do these trades without thinking about them. When you spot a bounce, you can either put your order on to buy at 138.5 or 52 or 53 or 54 to make sure you get the trade, with a 10 pip stop and a 10 pip profit. And if you get in at the bounce area, you'll be right 8 or 9 times out of 10. On the first touch, that is guaranteed. So we can show you that even with minimal knowledge of the Forex market yourself, without necessarily having to stare at complex charts or candlesticks or try to work out complex analysis of any kind, you just spot this pattern. And if you can spot it, whatever currency it is, it doesn't matter. It could be euro, could be pound, could be dollar yen, could be Aussie dollar, could be Canada, doesn't matter. When you spot a bounce trade setup, you just place your order in, a 10-point wraparound stop loss take profit, and 8 to 10 times, 8 out of 10 times, you're going to be right. On the first touch, we're very aggressive. On the second touch, a little bit less aggressive. And then 3rd and 4th and 5th times, we would leave for the other birds to catch some crumbs if they bounce. We're interested in the first 1 or 2 times. Now hopefully you can easily see that setup, and let me ask you therefore, what is the potential bounce trade setup on this trio of grids. This is a fresh example. So again, we have euro dollar, sterling dollar, and dollar yen. And I'm asking you, from what I've just told you on the previous euro example, which grid do you think is in a bounce setup? Well, you'd be right if you said the sterling dollar. The reason for that is that we have all of our, in this case, resistance, which is red box. We've come up from a previous support area with clear roads up, and we're now meeting a roadblock or a brick wall. And once again, in this case, you have two 1 hour boxes. So this is effectively like saying you will not go further than this brick wall. When you have 1 hour boxes, you need very heavy artillery guns to blast through it first time. And so 9 out of 10 times what happens is you don't blast through it and you come back down to your supportive green box area. So once again, you look for this pattern, a set of 4 column resistance or roadblocks as I call it, with at least 1 hour box, and in this case it is a sell example, which is the equivalent of getting a brick wall on the top of sterling dollar for you to sell again. So you're bouncing the ball this time and expecting it to come in a down direction back to your green boxes. Let's do one final example. Once again, it's euro dollar, sterling dollar, and dollar yen. So tell me, which of these 3 grids can you spot the pattern that we've just been discussing in the previous 2 examples? Well, once again, if you've got it right, you were talking about the dollar yen, because the dollar yen has a brick wall at around 91.05, 06, 07 area with 2 1 hour boxes, and again 4 columns of resistance, looking to sell against that brick wall for a drop back from where we came from, which is down to your green boxes. And when you see that pattern, you sell to it. Now, I'm hopeful that you can see how simple and non-discretionary, in other words, there's not much room for error. Once you see a brick wall, you hit that trade and expect a rebound in the opposite direction. And if you have a 20-point gap, you're going to look to take 10 because you want to be humble and you want to make sure you get some money. And so we're telling you, this pattern makes our users 10 pips 9 out of 10 times in under 10 minutes. That means it's almost 10% risk only of you being wrong, and it works 9 out of 10 times. Very often, wannabe clients of ours say, well, can you guarantee your software? Well, it's a bit like supplying someone with a Ferrari and asking us to guarantee their driving. You know, we can guarantee the car, but we can't necessarily guarantee the idiot behind the wheel, so to speak. What we can do, however, with a bounce trade is we can guarantee the setup. We can guarantee the statistics. We can guarantee that it works 9 out of 10 times, which is a 10% risk. Invariably, you're only waiting 10 minutes or less to make 10 pips if you get in on the setups that I've just shown. Now, in real banking terms, you don't need to know why these setups work. You just need to understand the analogy of a brick wall and why a brick wall is going to knock that price back down to where it came from, at least temporarily. But I can tell you that fund managers, top traders at banks, hedge funds use these sort of retracement techniques all the time. And you just need to know that they work, and you need to be able to visually spot them. That's all you need to be concerned about. And so if you want to spot the secret patterns that can transform your FX trading instantly and allow you to start making immediate gains in your live trading account whilst you're then enjoying our trade room and learning the other 6 setups, which are a little bit more discretionary, then I highly recommend you join us and start doing the bounce trades and getting real money in your account real quick.